writing plays, but I was still, I have a theater degree, and then I got my MFA in acting, and I was going to pursue acting. And then I was trying to pursue acting, and I was working at 1-800-DENTIST. And if anybody, I guess nobody knows that? Nobody gets referred to dentists anymore? You have very good dental care, I'm very proud of you. Or you have really crappy dental care and your teeth are gonna fall out of your heads.
It's because you left the business and they don't know how to find one.
I guess that's what happened. Anyhow, I got tired of that job, and then I was a production assistant on Powerpuff Girls, and so my playwriting turned into writing for animation. So it wasn't necessarily I went, oh, I really want to do that. It was just a really fortunate situation.
You made eye contact, Jim.
Oh, God.
That means you have to
I should
answer.
have learned by now. In college, I went to film school at NYU, and I knew I wanted to be in film and TV production, but I was not really that great at all the technical stuff, and actually I was really bad at it. But I was a great storyteller, so I took a lot of writing classes, and writing for kids TV and that stuff, and I just really liked it a lot. And that's how it happened.
Thanks for the microphone. I loved to write when I was small, but I never thought it would be, I really loved to write 80s movie fan fiction. When I was like 10 or 11, I was like pumping, I was pumping out like sequels to like Lost Boys and anything I could think of. But I lived in a very, very small town and back in Pennsylvania, and never conceived that you could write professionally. And was totally like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. Just kept writing for fun, and then I had a quarter-life crisis when I turned 25. And I was just like, ah, funk that. I'm gonna go back to school, and I got a degree in journalism, and ended up at the Jim Henson Company working there in publishing. And once I left there, they tapped me, because they knew I liked to write, tapped me to do some Fraggle Rock comic books. And that turned into a career in writing that I never wanted to admit. So yeah, if you start freaking out about your life, it's really good to just do something. Because I could just be making plastic cups right now, which was what I thought I'd probably do with my life.
Really?
Yeah, that's what most people did in my hometown. They went to a plastic cup factory. I think that just like really disturbed you, Josh. The look on your face.
I don't see you in the plastic cup factory.
It could still happen.
To all of us, really.
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. I also started off as an actor, and then I went to film school, and then wanted to be a director, and then figured I would just obviously write and direct major motion pictures and act in them, and it would just be amazing. Turns out that's a lot harder to do than to say. Yeah, I wasn't having a lot of success, and I worked in a lot of different parts of the industry as personal assistants, and then worked in development, and
Who are you a personal assistant to?
different people. Lots of
Why
different
aren't
people.
you mentioning that?
What was that?
Who was it?
I was Mel Gibson's assistant. Ridiculous. And that experience really taught me to write My Little Pony. But my career in entertainment wasn't going where I wanted to. I didn't quite know what to do, and I had friends who were working in animation, and I figured I would use them, and so I wrote a bunch of specs and gave my specs are just sort of sample scripts for shows that are on the air, and gave it to my friends and asked them, pleaded with them to sort of disseminate and spread it to as many people as they could, and yeah, I got a couple of meetings out of that and a couple of different jobs, and one of them ended up being on My Little Pony. And so yeah, I decided to be a writer when I got a job writing.
myself as a child, and I used to rewrite I Love Lucy episodes.
Because they're so bad.
Well, I actually transcribed them, I guess is a better way to put it. Wasn't actually writing them. And I wrote a musical for my 5th grade called Courtoise's Mill about poltergeists. It didn't actually have any music, it was just the lyrics, so that really set me up for writing for music for My Little Pony. And anyway, I wrote a lot of stuff, and then I decided to be an actor, and that didn't pan out so well, so I started writing myself scenes, and the scenes seemed to get a better reaction than my acting. So I moved to New York and started writing like plays and stuff. And it seemed like my writing got a better response. I started getting work pretty quickly from writing instead of acting, so I switched. But I've always written.
I had a very similar trajectory to Josh. I went to film school, which none of you should ever do.
Why not?
Wanted to be a writer-director, and made a couple short films and realized how much I hated being on set. It was just awful. You have to get up really early, and there's nothing happening, but you feel really stressed out all the time. You're just waiting, and you're
I like
stressed.
being on set. I don't like having to do anything when I'm there.
I hate being on set. It just feels like tension when nothing's
I
happening.
hate being on set too.
It's awful.
I never wanted to be a set PA. That's why I was always an office PA, which is like the place that people who actually want to be writers end up in production, because everyone thinks that if you're there and close to all the writers and directors and stuff, that you'll get a shot like Amy did. She got really lucky. But it doesn't always work out that way, but you do get to meet a lot of people who I think eventually could help you. But yeah, I hate being on set too.
It's
Continue.
awful. Then I was a personal assistant for a while, and then moved to LA to Mel Gibson, to Josh. That was the second assistant.
I needed one after that.
A friend of mine who I grew up with, I grew up in Minneapolis, he lived in LA, was working at Cartoon Network on a show there, and they needed writers, and I didn't really know much about modern cartoons, so he's like, watch SpongeBob and write 2 SpongeBob specs. So I did. This is back when you could rent DVDs. I rented
This is
all-
Randy?
No.
Not Randy? Okay.
Do you know Kelsey Mann? Kelsey Mann?
No.
He's at Pixar now.
Oh.
Anyhow, so I rented all these SpongeBob DVDs and I started watching them and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. So I wrote 2 of those and then I got hired onto this other show and just been doing it ever since.
This is a random one for you, Mitch, but I like it, so I'm going to ask it. In Magic Duel, was Trixie's fear of wheels based on the historical accounts of totalitarian dictators banning wheels to prevent excess city growth?
Yes, no.
I thought that was pretty obvious.
Question for you, Josh, that I just received. Is Mel Gibson a brony?
I'm sure. I'm sure he is.
This is a
You
rather...
guys keep in touch?
Yeah. We're really tight.
This is a rather sweet one. Take the person... we'll go to your left, and we'll start with Mitch. Take the person to your left, compliment one of their episodes or pieces of work. Say something nice about their work. Or explain why you should buy their book.
I think Pinky Apple Pie is an awesome episode. It has lots of heart, and it has an incredible song.
People in the audience like that episode, right?
It's like Natasha on the screen. It's very sweet.
Mitch, come on. What am I supposed to do? What about you?
Say something nice about Josh Haber's work.
Buy his book.
Go for it.
Oh boy. Well,
Yes.
this is bad because I'm not sure what you wrote.
You could just compliment me in general.
But I think you're a great person, and I trust you more than Mitch.
I think that's true for most people.
And I think you're really really great. And you're fun to work with.
That's canon now, right? Oh, it's my turn. I honestly, I have no time to read anything, so I haven't read anybody's stuff. But I really like the idea of Nightmare Rarity. Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think you should do an arc for every one of the characters. Nightmarified.
I'll just do that.
Cool.
Thanks, Josh.
Also, you're really nice.
You are really nice. I love
I totally paid them before we came. Well, Jillian, I know, is an unbelievably efficient and fast worker, and she also tends to have an enormous amount of heart in what she does. I know she cares like a lot more than she probably should. Aww, and she's lovely. She's a little
you.
racist.
And she braids hair really
And
well.
she braids hair like a champ.
She braided my hair.
She said a ray of sun.
A racist? We're talking about Mel Gibson too.
That's not controversial, you guys.
I totally watched Lethal Weapon 3 last night at like 3 a.m. on HBO. I was on it. Sure.
Well, thank you. That was very sweet. Amy is just actually such an inspiration to me because she writes my favorite character so well, like pretty much created Pinkie Pie and like the way she is. So I think like taking what she's done for that character and putting my own spin on it and just, you know, being inspired by that has been huge to me, and especially Pinkie Pride, which is like one of my favorite episodes of all time. Just brilliant, and she's just so fun and silly, and she feels a lot, and she cares a lot too, and I like that. She's a little firecracker.
And Amy, you can choose.
I know. I'm choosing Larson because nobody's spoken about Larson.
Fair point. Yes, cycle round. Good job.
I am actually reading Larson's book. And it's really, really good, and it makes me super jealous that he's so smart that he wrote this book. Because I'm trying to write a book, and he wrote a book, and it's really awesome. But then I also have to say, he asked me for my address about like a month ago, and I still don't know why, but he promised me a box of meat, and I still haven't gotten it. So that's the other thing. So good book writer, but non-deliver boxes of meat.
I just sent it the slowest way, so it'll be good.
So it's gonna be really funky by the time it gets to my house.
We have a question here. Your favorite pony to write for? Anyone who wishes to answer? All of you? None of you? I can move on. But your favorite pony to write for and why? I think we've got that yours is Pinkie.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm known for loving Pinkie, but I'm being a defender of Applejack because I get these crazy long emails from people saying people hate Applejack, Amy, and tell people, well, they're no. It's just
Applejack is best pony.
I think she's very awesome, and they say, Amy, try and fix this problem. And I'm like, all right, gravy, people. But I think that people will be happy in season 5 with something that happens. So.
Oh, yeah! Oh, boy!
But I love Applejack.
I like writing Pinkie because she's really, really silly. And you can make up lots of words, which is fun. And I also really like writing Rarity because you can just make her say ridiculous, dramatic things, and it always works. And then you just add darling at the end, and it's... So.
Yeah, I agree about Rarity. It seems like her words just flow no matter what she's saying. So she's great to write for because she's pretty easy. I like, when I can, I like to write for Fluttershy. I find her to be the trickiest one to write for. So, just because, I don't know.
She doesn't have a lot to say, but
doesn't
when
have
she
a lot to
does,
say.
it's
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a Still Waters thing with her. There's always sort of a subtext because she doesn't say, she holds it back. So that's kind of fun to write for. And DJ Pone 3, like I said yesterday, is really great to write for because she doesn't talk. I like Granny Smith, like super fun to write for because it's just like that voice is just, it's right there, everything. You need to make up some weird like countryism and like just pick up two, like an adjective and a noun and just smush them together and it's like, like, I don't know. Just it'll call you anything that like something like you tin can or whatever. It's just like and you just pick something and turn it into put a country drawl on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. So that's fun.
You're a tin can.
I would say Pinky and Fluttershy are the easiest, therefore my favorite to write for. I'm not picking a favorite, guys.
Rarity is really fun because she has these levels of, she is very generous obviously at her core, but she also is pretty pompous and hypocritical. Which is a lot of fun.
More than a nuclear power plant.
All I heard was nuclear power plant. And then I also really enjoy writing the Flim Flam Brothers because they're just like, it's like a two-headed snake and they're just so slimy and fun. I don't know, they were a blast.
I have some bad news for you, Mitch. Got a question here. Actually, not a question, a demand. Mitch, found a typo in your book, halfway down page 47. I want my money back.
That's fair enough.
Also, Mitch, you've been telling everyone to buy your book. Have you bought Amy and GM Barrow's books?
Yes.
He actually did. He bought the Applejack book
I
yesterday.
bought all of them.
Yeah.
They were out of. I tried to buy them. They were out of yesterday.
Have you bought the Daring Do books?
No, that one I don't have.
Because I ordered your book, pre-ordered. And even though I already had a copy that you had given me, I still pre-ordered it.
To be fair, first of all, you gave her a copy.
Well, I was at the book expo.
Okay, now I know things.
It was an ARC.
And you have a lot of books. So
That's true.
that's not really fair. Although why I'm defending this guy who didn't even give me a book, I don't know.
The book fight you were promised, it's coming. Give it a few more minutes to ferment, and yeah. Actually, a serious question for you, Mitch. What was your influence or inspiration in creating Princess Cadet Basil? Who's read Mitch's book? Who knows about this character? Okay. There should be more hands than that, but...
No spoilers, guys.
Hey, I bought the book.
Ready?
Is that too spoilery? You can decide if that's too spoilery.
I don't think so. You think it's spoilery?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not.
What page does she die on?
He.
Let's not.
No? Okay, fair enough.
It's a great character, so you
But I'm
should
gonna
read
ask
the
that in the
book.
airport. I'm gonna find out the answer in the airport, and then I'll tweet about it. But I have the answer.
I'm just looking at Faulkner coming on stage and then running off again.
That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Folder.
So, this is a good one. So we've bought your books, and yeah, I lost myself halfway through that question. What books do you love? These people have bought
I
your
love
books, but
Penny
what
Royal
books do you love?
Academy.
What books do you recommend?
Yeah, Pennyroyal Academy is pretty good.
Aside from your books, what books do you recommend?
When I was growing up, my favorite book, and it might still be, is Watership Down. That's just an incredible book. I love the Harry Potter series. They're just so imaginative, and I think she sort of transformed culture by getting people to read again. Of all ages, like I'd be riding the subway and see a 75-year-old woman with, you know, Goblet of Fire. It was very cool.
When were you riding the subway?
When I lived in New York.
Did you want everyone to answer this question?
Please.
I mean, that's a big question, but I'll just say, off the top of my head, it's weird. I don't know why I'm thinking it's Pennyroyal. That's just like the first thing. But then, my favorite book lately, besides that, Mitch's book, is Wild by Cheryl Strayer. Actually, yeah, and common person involved. But I love that book. It's amazing. And, you know, to be a cliche, Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book.
It's Catcher in the Rye. I liked Catcher in the Rye too. I have a affinity for that sort of like adolescent private school thing. I like Catcher in the Rye. Also, there's another book like I think I read in 7th or 8th grade called A Separate Peace. Anybody familiar with that? John Knowles. Really awesome, depressing book as well. But yeah, it's just like hard for me to get away from that Dead Poet Society feel. Like, that's what I love. Private, privileged angst.
So like Pennyroyal Academy is like private
Just
school.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what Witches and Dragons and stuff. Yeah, that's it.
We had the same reading list. The two of us went to the same high school, so he's like naming the books. We're like, yeah, we had the same summer reading list. So, it's funny.
I guess I read a lot more comics than books. But I am now making my way through the Golden Compass series, which I hadn't read, and it's fantastic, so read that. I also just read Seconds, which is a new book or graphic novel by Brian Lee O'Malley, which is pretty awesome. And the Hawkeye comic books are pretty great.
Yeah, they are. Oh my God! The more the dog. Oh!
Pizza Dog! Yes, those are great. Those are great for ladies in the house who like to read comics. But yeah, I don't read too many books. Is that horrible to say? Except for Penroyal Academy.
Does that count as?
Well, I read lots and lots of books all of the time. I love books. My current favorite book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It's so good.
I need to read that.
It's amazing. Just check it out. And I just really love sci-fi books. One of my favorites is called Child of Fortune by Norman Spinrad. There's some adult content in it though, so not for kids. I just read a young adult sci-fi book called Tin Star by Cecil Castellucci. And that one's really cool. It's about this human girl that gets stuck on basically a space station, and she's the only human there. And she's kind of like this little homeless sort of, it's sort of like Space Oliver Twist kind of thing. It's really cool. And I could probably just keep going on and on, but I'll just stop there. Books.
Did you like Ender's Game too?
Oh, I love Ender's Game. I love Golden Compass.